or today, Trans Visibility Day on Easter. All right? He made Easter Trans Visibility Day. That's very interesting, ain't it? It's very interesting he would do that on this day. And a lot of people feel a certain way about it. Like, what's the message here? So Biden's Transgender Day of Visibility proclamation on Easter is the thumb in the face of Christians. That a lot of people look at it like that. Y'all got to understand this. When they start talking about trans, and there's a reason why they made it trans visibility. All right? Not LGBT. All right, let's look at how they do stuff. The powers that be just don't do random stuff. They don't do random stuff. What's trans visibility? What does that mean? What does that mean? If there's a trans person there, okay, we see them. They're visible. So what do we need a visibility day for on Easter? I want y'all to understand, man, a lot of these people who promote trans stuff. Now, there's some people out there who are trying to do honest work. I'm not trying to throw everybody under the bus, but we got to understand something else. Trans is also used as a code word. You understand? The white supremacists, they know how to use code words where other white supremacists can understand it. Y'all better understand that a lot of these people who utilize trans language and ideologies or whatever, a lot of these people, and we talked about this before, are into satanic things. That's why I pointed out stories about Target and other stores having to pull clothes out because these clothes are supposed to represent transgender people, but they have satanic symbols on them. You did. You see these people like Sam Smith and all these people talking about trans this and trans that, and they're dressing up as Satan on stage. Or they'll get a Lil Nas X to promote trans stuff, and he's doing music videos where he's twerking on Satan. There's always this little satanic thing that they have to keep dialing back into it. Y'all better understand what these people are talking about, because when you talk about Satanism, you're talking about the Baphomet. Let me put the tinfoil kufi on. And the Baphomet is a transgender deity. All right, when you talk about devil worship and Satanism and the symbol of the Baphomet is a transgender demonic entity. The goat, the half man, half woman, is a man, but it has breasts and it's a goat and it's throwing up some satanic symbolisms. It's some real demonic stuff out here that they have to throw little codes to. So you better understand, they just don't say stuff just to be saying it. All right? They don't say, and there's a reason why they wanted to do that on Easter. There's a reason why they wanted to do it specifically on Easter Day. That's supposed to be a holy day. People go to church and people are recognizing God and Christ or whatever. Huh? And you better understand, the white supremacists are diametrically opposed to anything spiritually pure or godlike. I want y'all to, we're going to have to do a real deep dive one day into how a lot of these white supremacists are into Satanism. You understand? The white supremacists are at war with God. That's why when you look at a lot of white supremacist doctrine, a lot of their ideologies fall in line with Satanism. In fact, a lot of the Church of Satanism, which was created in the 1960s by Anton LaVey, he used a lot of white supremacist doctrine. A lot of these guys who preach Satanism, Aleister Crowley, these little evil, weird people, they use old white supremacist ideologies. Yeah? So you got to understand the white supremacists are at war with God. They look at their existence being in small numbers on the planet and having to fight to survive, so to speak. They look at that as God punishing them to a certain degree. That's why they left Europe with a vengeance, starting to punish all of the melanated people around the globe. They wage warfare on God's people around the world. This is why they always have to conquer nature. They always have to conquer a mountain. They got to go climb some mountain somewhere. We don't, we just, that's not practical for us. We respect that mountain. All right. That's a mountain. We ain't got to prove no point. That's a mountain. Shout out to the mountain. But it's always, we got to conquer nature. We got to do something to conquer nature. Just conquer God. Yeah. So you got to understand where these people's ideologies come from and what they're really about. It's very heavy. Yeah. That's why they're against us so much. You understand? This is why they're so opposed to whatever we do, because we, especially us as foundational Black Americans, we have a direct godlike energy, the energy of Mojara. All right, the energy of Mojara is a direct godlike energy. That's why us surviving the way we've survived these white supremacists because of the godlike spirit that we have inside of us. And we have become the people with the most moral capital. And I always talk about how people always have to have us align with their movements in order to legitimize it, in order for them to gain sympathy. They have to align themselves with us. Right. Let's talk about, somebody made a very good point. I'm going to go back to my point, but somebody made another good point about how things in nature that we as melanated people, we worship, like the sun, these are things that harm them. The dominant, when I say dominant, I mean dominant as far as power, not in numbers, because white supremacist numbers are actually globally low. But things like the sun, which gives everything life, it punishes them if they're in that sun too much. See, they look at that as God tapping at them. You see? They look at that as God being against them. There's nothing godlike about the way many of the white supremacists operate. Nothing godlike at all. Remember, they used to plan their lynchings in their churches. You see? The Klan is a Christian organization, but they're a terrorist group. You see? You feel what I'm saying? That's what it is. Yeah, that sun tears them up. The sun tears them up heavy. Yeah? Okay, I don't know what y'all in here talking about. People are talking about all types of different stuff. But yeah, they look at us as God's people. That's why they're always rubbing on us and all of that weird stuff, trying to get good luck. I told y'all, in white supremacist society, rubbing the head of a black person has always been good luck. Well, foundational Black American in particular. Them rubbing our hair, that's a sign. That's for them trying to get good luck. They're trying to get that Mojara energy on them. That's been a thing with them forever, since they've come over here. Yeah. But yeah, their whole thing is to attack God's people all the time. Okay? We represent all that is holy, everything that represents soul. Yeah? That's why they had to create things like Dracula and the whole concept of a vampire. The whole concept of a vampire, you have to consume the energy of living people, so to speak. Dracula, let me get deep for a minute. Dracula is based on a man who was really alive named Vlad the Impaler. There was a white man in Europe, over there in Transylvania, or in the areas that became Transylvania, Vlad the Impaler. And he was known for killing his opponents and eating them. There's actual paintings of him sitting up here with a whole bunch of bodies piled up, and he's sitting at a dinner table eating a foot. One thing that they said about Vlad the Impaler is that he would eat Moors, because they were battling Moors at the time as well. They were battling Moors all through parts of Europe, and they said he was consuming black Moors. Yeah? Let's put this stuff in the real context. And go get the book called Delectable Negro that talks about how these white supremacists had to consume us. They would harm us and they would ingest us. When we would get lynched, remember, they would fight over the body parts. You know, Nat Turner, they distributed his oil body parts. They filleted his body and delivered it to different people and made powder and oil out of his body. And remember, they were circulating that man's skull around until relatively recently. Yeah? They were circulating that man's skull. Man, let me get real deep for a minute. Let's get real deep. Family, in Harvard University, just this week, they had to get rid of a book that they had. There was a book at Harvard University called Destiny of the Soul. That's the English translation. It's actually a French book that was written in the 1800s. The English translation is Destiny of the Soul. The book was bound in human flesh. And this book had been at Harvard for years. Okay? Let me show you all the article on this. Hold on, let me find the article real quickly, family. They had to get rid of the book because people were like, what the hell? Hold on, let me show y'all this. Oh yeah, y'all didn't know this. This was just this week. Harvard said it removed human skin from the binding of a 19th century book. It was bound by human skin. All right, this was this week. All right, and they were circulating this book around Harvard for years. All right, Des Destinées de l'Âme, meaning Destiny of the Soul, was written by a French novelist in the early 1800s. The book was bound by human flesh. Now, check this out. There had been rumors, family, there were rumors that the flesh from the book was from a black woman who was a mental patient in France. That was the rumor. All right? Here's a very obscure article about that. Hold on, right here. Woman Behind the Binding. All right, that's the actual book right there. All right, so this was a rumor, and this is kind of a rare article. Where is it? In a move highlighting a grave lapse in ethics, Harvard University recently removed a book from their historic library collection. The book was bound in material both shocking and deeply disturbing, the skin of a black female patient who died in a French hospital. So that was the rumor, that this book was of a black woman. They used her damn skin, all right? So, and it's supposed to be a book about the soul. Family, you got to understand what we're dealing with, family. You got to understand what we're dealing with here. You got to understand what we're dealing with. Yeah, it's a black person holding the book. So they do real demonic stuff, man. These people do some real demonic stuff. So you don't put anything past them. Yeah? You don't put anything past them. Yeah, the serial killer that would make lampshades, I think that was Ed Gaines. Yeah? But listen, we just got to be on top of ours. We got to be on top of ours, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, listen. Retweet this. Let everybody know we're deep in here. Let everybody know that we're in here heavy and we're chopping up great game, ladies and gentlemen. Let everybody know we're chopping up some very great game today.